Alright, welcome back to Dents and Dings, wherein I, James, your host, am working on my MG once again. Well, I probably don't need this introduction, but this is a continuation of the brake project, the front brakes. Previously, I replaced the rotors and the pads, and I realized the caliper was not releasing pressure, and it was rubbing the entire time, heating up the bearings and everything else. So I need to sort that out. Today, my new brake calipers came in, so I'm going to put those on both rotors, of course, but I'm starting with the driver's side because why not? Anyways, that's the plan. So I just pull the wheel off, or lift the car, pull the wheel off, and then yeah, we'll go through the process of swapping out the calipers. I do think I'll flush the brake lines too. I'll just flush the entire thing with some DOT3 brake fluid. I just bought some new stuff. I don't know what's in the lines currently. I'm hoping it's not the DOT5 brake fluid that I found in the trunk, because that's a silicone based, and I don't want that. Especially if I mix in DOT3, then it's just going to cause gelling and stuff, so I'm hoping I can flush it all out and put in fresh DOT3 fluid. So I got plenty of new fluid I'll fill it with when I get to that point. So anyways, that's the plan here. Well, let's just get started. So I should probably talk about it a bit. Yes, I ordered replacement calipers, and yes, I probably should have just got a kit to rebuild these ones, but I figured I want this car ready to go by the weekend, which is in a couple days for me. So by the time I ordered calipers, realized they were kind of the issue. I don't think I'd have gotten the kit both in time to get it all put back together, so here's where we are. Anyways, eventually, when these go bad, or when the new ones go bad, because they probably will, because they're just cheap ones, but I will probably get a kit and rebuild this, and maybe I can make that into a video too, but for now, I'm just going the quick and easy route. Easy, it's always easy until you get started. So let's see, 5/8. Yep. Now, I probably need a breaker bar to get it off, but I'll try it like this. Ugh. Yep, I'm going to need a breaker bar. I did a good job of tightening it, I suppose. Didn't go to the torque spec because I don't have a torque wrench that'll fit in there. I need the adapter. There we go. Come on, where are you? No, I don't want you down there. That's way too low. Come on. Ah. Okay, guess we'll have to try from up here. There. That might be enough. Alright. Come on now. There. Alright, that's the top one. Once again, there are two of these bolts on the top and the lower part, so I just have to... I broke those free. I should be able to get it with my ratchet now. There we go. And actually this one I could probably turn by fingers. I didn't expect that. Now before I take those out completely, I should probably take out the brake pads. It'll just be easier to do them in this order. To find my pliers. There they are. Wait, I just get those I never bent the pins back when I reinserted them. Well, good thing I didn't go too far, eh? I was just planning ahead. Right. See, I figured I'd have to take them apart again, so I just left them easy to take out. Planned. Alright. I should probably get new spring pieces and cotter pins, but I didn't. Anyways, let's pull these pads out. Nope. Yeah, they're good. Right. Now, just pull these. Yeah, I think I'll take the bolts out before I remove the... You know what? Okay, I need my wrenches. Okay, I need to loosen the bleeder screw and also... And then I'll remove the hydraulic hose, the brake line. Okay, what size were you again? 3/8. Ah, that's hot. Okay. I kind of thought it would be better because that part wasn't in the sun. At least I didn't think it was. All right, let's try 7/16. I can feel it through the rain. All right, that seems about right. Okay, screw loosened. Next, I need to detach the hydraulic line. I believe that's, I don't know what size it might be. But let's try a few. Right away, I'm going to guess 1/2 inch. Yep, very hot. Bigger than 1/2 inch, maybe 9/16. Oh, well, it might be metric for some reason. Real quick, I'll try a 5/8. That's what I have the next size up. Definitely too small for 5/8. So it's not a 9/16. It's not a 5/8. It could be a 9/16. It's just covered with grease, but and I'm just going to use a metric equivalent. What do I have? Where's my... We'll try 15. Alright, 15 seems to fit perfectly. Let's get that off. I'm actually trying to get loose instead of tighter. It doesn't want to go. Oh. Well, that's on there pretty tight. I don't want to force it in case there's something I'm missing. Maybe I should check my manual. I'll be right back after I take a look. Okay, so the book wants me to remove the hose from the solid line connector instead of from the caliper. At least first, they want me to do it like that. So I guess I'll just do that. So I need to... Okay. Let's get some PB Blaster on this. Now, of course, the last thing I want to worry about are replacing solid lines when I'm in a bit of a rush. So, ideally, you let this sit for a little while the PB Blaster soaks in. Anyways, let's see what this is. A 9/16. Hey, okay, it turned. And it wasn't seized. That's terrific. Like, really, I'm not being sarcastic. I am so glad I don't have to deal with that. Okay, get that off too. Alright, off this goes. I can't quite show you this. It's just a bit far back, and I don't have a small enough camera for that. Now, of course, this is just dripping brake fluid everywhere, which is great. Probably could have put a towel down or something there, just to catch it. The manual said something to that effect. Alright. And there's our brake line. I don't quite have anything to cork that with, so I guess it's just going to drain out. Which is fine, because I plan to drain the brakes anyways. Probably. Alright, now let's get these bolts off the caliper. Alright, there it goes. And there's my old caliper. I probably won't be able to show you too well, but these little pistons that push in the brakes, they don't like to retract, and they should retract by hand, I think at least. When I did it before, I actually had to get a tool for it. What did I use? I don't even know what it's called. Anyways, it was like a giant pair of pliers that I used, and I had to force these back in, so their seals are pretty much shot. I'll try. I've got to save the hardware and everything, of course, and I'm just gonna douse them with some PB Blaster. Okay. Now let's take a look at one of the new brake calipers. I don't know. These should be specific from left to right. So these are A premium brake calipers. Never heard of them, but they were cheap. And they'll probably work cheaply, but that's the main thing. They'll work, at least. Hopefully. So this is what we're looking at. So yeah, they're very similar. This is obviously the wrong one for the other side, but anyways, it's definitely a bit shinier. So I'll get the proper one. The seals look much better, obviously. Okay, there we are. This one should be the left side, possibly, probably, hopefully. I hope they're opposite like they're supposed to. Alright, yeah, that looks about right. Oh, this one even has a cap over the bleeder. How nice of them. I don't think the other one did. Well, maybe I'll put that to use. That was a cap that goes onto the hydraulic line. Let me just put that back in there for now. Okay, so, yep, definitely newer, nicer looking. They're stamped, and I can't even read what the stamp says. Anyways, let's just get those swapped around. And of course these should be this. Everything should be the same. They're direct replacements. Hopefully just plug and play. But I need to get this hose off of here if I can. It would be great if I can do this without breaking it. Alright, I need leverage. Wait a minute. That won't work like this. Because then you need the other end. Right. Great! I don't suppose this will slot all the way down. Nope, not over the spring. Yep. Mm-hmm. I don't want to punch the concrete when it eventually gives. So I might put this in a vise then. I think that'll be my best bet. I'll be right back once this hose is off. Because of course I'm going to need this. And hopefully the hose isn't the issue. Anyways, I'll be back. I managed to get it off. It actually didn't take too much. It just needed to... just about one good pull and I got it, so that's nice. Let me just grab this caliper, and yeah, okay, we'll set this aside for now. We'll get back to it. Let me put that plug back in. I don't want to get any gunk in there, of course. So, this is what we're working with. I believe, yeah, because these pistons, they have a low part and a high part. I gotta double check the manual, but I think the high part goes inside, on the inside of the rotor. Alright, so I managed to get them pretty dang close. Maybe they're not perfect, but turns out there is a special tool you need for it. Which I don't have, of course. What I ended up doing was I took a bolt and a nut that were like pretty much just the perfect length to fit inside of the piston. I put them in and you know, I pre-adjusted it to the right length that I would need it to, with the nut pressing against one wall and the head of the bolt pressing against the other. Pressed them in and turned them using a angled pliers, and that seemed to work pretty well, but probably not, you know, recommended, but I mean it worked for me, at least as far as I can tell. It's worked and I haven't ruined anything. It hasn't marred the inside too much. I think we're okay, and so I'll get these reinstalled, and well, it should basically be the mirrored process of what I had before, so I don't think I'll bother showing that, especially because you can't see it too well anyways. But this is your bleeder. There's a cap on everything, and I don't know if it's going to focus right, but and then this is where the hose goes in. There's a little red cap on there, which again, I don't know if you can see. It's hard to focus when you don't have the, well, when you're by yourself without autofocus. So I just go clean the inside of these out a little bit, and then yeah. Well, that's about everything I need, so I just hook that up, and hopefully it'll be basically plug and play. Of course I'll need to bleed it out, but we'll be back for that. So I'll mount this first, and see you then. Alright, so there's the new calipers all installed, or new caliper I should say, and I haven't, I still need to bleed the brakes first, but anyways, that's how it looks on there. It looks, well, it looks new. The rotor looks dirty already, but anyways, they're both new. They're just cheap. Anyways, so I'm gonna go grab my brake fluid, and then we'll bleed these through. Of course, I'm making a bit of a mess. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Yep, there's a bit of a mess there. But anyways, I'll clean that up when I'm done, probably, maybe, and then should be good to go. Yeah, I'll grab that fluid and I'll start bleeding the brake. Alright, so about to put the new brake fluid in. Of course, for flushing it, I got nothing but the best for my car. American XT synthetic heavy duty brake fluid, DOT3. It's lighting is awful here, but anyways, it's what Dollar Tree had, so it's what I'm using. It should be good enough, you know, because nothing but the best for my car. It's got that nice, it's got a nice color. It's like sparkling white grape juice. Anyways, we'll get on to filling that and flushing these, the front driver's side brake out. And, yeah, that'll be fun. Focus is off. Lights are dim. Great. So, of course I'm doing this all myself, because the only other person here is Rosie. Anyways, I'll just... It's already a little low from what I've been doing. I've been pumping the pedal a few times, just trying to get fluid through the system. Just add some there. No funnel, of course. Alright. Set this somewhere I can see it, because I'll be using it plenty. Right. Now, how am I going to figure out that the brake fluid's coming out clear? I'm glad you asked, because I hadn't thought of it. I am going to use this ice cream bucket. I'll just set this down here, and I wish I had a little tube going directly from there, but we'll just get a little contaminated brake fluid through, and we'll see how that looks in the bucket. I'll dump it out every few cycles, and we'll see if the brake fluid comes out clear. Alright, pumping the brakes. I can hear it. Alright, we'll call that good. Let's see what we're looking at. Very dirty brake fluid, and not much actually got into the bucket, because it shot right out. Anyways, let's find a tube for this thing, just to make less of a mess. It's just coating brake fluid on the inside of the fender. So, I need to find a little hose. Alright, so I found a section of what's probably supposed to be fuel line. I'm just going to cut it to a decent length. I think that'll be okay. Ugh, it's some tough fuel line. Would have been great for fuel, I bet. So I'm just going to feed that down to the bucket, and we'll connect this end to that bleeder. Okay, now we should be getting some more accurate results, as long as the hose doesn't just shoot off the bleeder. Oh, let's check the brake fluid level just to make sure we're not going to be drawing air through. I think I can actually feel some air going through. It's definitely still quite dirty. Alright, I'm going to empty this out. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a bit jello-y, which is not great. I'm assuming that's because of, if he did put DOT5 in here, the silicone-based stuff, it's reacting poorly to the DOT3 that's already in there, which of course isn't silicone-based. So, hopefully we can get that all flushed out by bleeding the brakes. our levels again. Looks good. It's feeling a little more consistent now. But it's still pretty nasty brake fluid. I'll keep working at it. Because I'm working alone, of course, I gotta keep an eye on all the levels myself and checking the bucket. Ideally, you'd have a second person checking the color of the brake fluid that's coming out of the bleeder screw. But of course I don't have that at the moment, so this is what I'm working with. This will just be a cyclical process, I suppose, and well, no point wasting film or your time, so I'll cut here and I'll be back if it either clears up or doesn't. So alright, the drain worked great, actually. It's still a little dirty, but it's definitely much clearer than it was before. And whether that's just because of how dirty the lines were inside or mix of brake fluid, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we'll do an experiment later by mixing the two types and we'll see what happens. I'm sure whatever it is isn't instant. It's probably like a multiple day thing, but we'll see how that works. And anyways, we should. This brake seems good now, and it is. I've finished bleeding it. I've got all the air bubbles out as far as I can tell, and tightened up the bleeder screw and pumped it a few times. And I can actually spin the rotor fairly easily, despite the having used the brakes already. So, I'm taking that as a good sign. Of course, I'll take it for a test drive after both sides are done, just to make sure that the hub isn't overheating again because of the brakes rubbing. And if it does overheat and the brakes aren't rubbing, well then we have another issue on our hands, and maybe we'll get into replacing wheel bearings. But they looked good when I had it open, the bearings, so I'm hoping that won't be an issue that we have to deal with. So anyways, I'm gonna put the wheel back on here and then we'll get to the other side in, well, for you it'll be like 2 seconds. Alright, so unlike last time when I rudely didn't show you working on this side, I will this time. And you'll get to see this rotor for the first time then. Because of course when I replaced the rotors I couldn't actually fit the camera over here at the time, so well, now you'll be able to see it because I've made some extra space. And then we'll replace the caliper, of course. At least we don't need to go through the process of replacing a rotor again. Well, for now. Who knows, maybe these cheap calipers will just completely lock up and destroy the rotor. Or maybe some other things. Maybe we'll get lucky. And I'll have more content, right? Okay. All 4 lugs are off. Right. So I guess I'll grab you and then we can take a look here. Alright, so here we are. This is the passenger side. Of course, we got the new rotor. This one I don't think was grabbing, or it was releasing pressure as far as I could tell. It wasn't getting hot like the other one. It also has a different hub cap. I don't know what that's about. Hopefully nothing important. But anyways, so yeah, we just have to pull this off then, and of course disconnect everything. I'm gonna PB blast everything before I get right into it, and then, yeah, that's the plan. Same as the other side, really, just mirrored. And of course there's a different caliper on this side, which I have. They have their matching set. So, welcome to the inside of the garage, where I am rotating these brake pistons so they face the proper way. According to the manual, it says that the indented portion faces the hub, which will of course be on this side. So right now they're facing, well, they're both facing this direction for some reason. They just came like that, but they should be facing in the hub, at least if the manual is to be believed. I need to find my little jerry-rigged tool. Here's my improvised tool. As you can see, it's a bolt and a nut. So all I have to do is find a size that'll looks like it'll fit, and I think that will go slight turn in. Alright, I think that's close. Then we take this big thing and pull it in to the piston. And this thing is actually long enough it can get both sides. There. Doesn't have to be in all the way. In fact, you don't want it in all the way because that'll make it more difficult to remove. So then I'd come in with this smaller version and get in there and just grab the bolt and rotate it the direction I need it to be. Okay, sometimes this happens. You just have to go back in there, maybe reset it to a position you think would work a bit better. Okay, that looks good. Grab my setting tool. Okay, again. Just want to see how close that is, and I think that's about where we want it. Now I just take this and pry it back, and you can pull the bolt out that way. And there's not too much marring that's been done on the inside of the piston. Again, you don't want it so tight that you'll end up bending the piston. And I mean, that much should be pretty obvious, because if you bend it, you're not going to get a very good seal, and it might not work at all. So choose your set size carefully, or just like me, do it until it stops spinning on itself. Ugh, come on now. Ugh. I think that'll do for now. And again, we're facing the same way, so I just gotta get on it. Whichever angle works best. I think that'll do. Rotate. Try not to mess with your angle too much, otherwise you might lose the bolt again. And it's kind of hard to see the notches from this position. Alright, you go just a little bit further. Alright, I'll take a look at that. And that is spot on. Right. Let's just get this back out. Now the problem with these piston rotators, they adjust. You just need the tightest position for this one. And then a mid-range or something for the big one. Anyways, the pistons are facing the correct position, correct direction, so just a matter of reinstalling them. Same process as before. What's up with this lighting? Oh, I see. The LED lights have a weird effect. Okay. Alright, we're back over here. Got the pistons the correct direction. Now we just got to get everything set up again the way we had it. So, let's get this on. Okay, and I gotta sort of hold it there. while I grab this bit, blow it off a little. Got it a bit dirty. Alright, that looks good. Put it back under here. Alright, now that's on. I just need to tighten them down a little bit. I kind of want to work fast because I'm losing brake fluid the longer I have the hose on. I don't have a proper plug for that solid line. So it's just slowly dripping, and that's kind of why it ran low on the other cylinder. I mean, the other brake, when I was working on it. Next, I'm going to... Well, I suppose let's connect this line before we lose too much. Use some proper brake cleaner on there too, in case your threads got dirty. Yep. Pull this little cap out. Alright, then we just tighten her. It's the worst from this end because, of course, nothing pivots for you, so you have to deal with the entire hose. Alright, I think that works. Let's just get it kind of wrapped there. Oh, it looks like the drip is speeding up, so my impromptu plug is definitely not doing its job. Alright, then I need 15 mil to tighten it down. Don't know why there's such a mix of metric and imperial. This car is supposed to be all imperial, but it doesn't seem to be quite that. Alright, that. That feels warm. Oh shoot, this has to go on too. Yep, it makes a lot faster from this side. Maybe that's part of the issue too. Hopefully not. Tightening. Okay, yeah, I got that cap on for the line on. There. Hold on. Get on there. Let me pull this. There we go. Yeah. Alright. Here's my wrench. That one's a 9/16. There we go. Alright, brake line reconnected. That doesn't seem right. Reconnected with some issues. Hopefully minor. Anyways, that's all we need out of that. Let's get the brake pads back in position. Fit that. And they like to fall out if you don't keep your eye on them. And by that I mean your finger on them. Okay. That's in position. Get these clips on. Ooh, I caught it. Unintentionally, too. I planned that. Pin goes in. It got quiet all of a sudden. I don't mind. But it's weird when I'm the only one talking. Well, I'm not the only one. Well, I'm the only one here, so I guess it would be worse if I was the only one, wasn't the only one talking. get the pliers, bend these. I think the manual calls them split pins. I don't know, I think they're just called cotter pins if I am using it properly. Anyways, other clip on. You know, the brake pads are surprisingly easy to change. I mean, as long as you have the right tools, which of course I do not, but you know. If I had the proper, like, piston resetter tool, whatever they call it, then it would be a pretty easy job. But I don't. So, come on now. Don't be that way. Almost through. Come on. Don't fight me like this. There. That did it. Okay. Bend the split pin. Cotter pin. I probably should replace those. If I had bought the clips, they would come with them too, but I also have replacement cotter pins. They're not split pins, but you know, I think they'll do the job. But, oh well, I already have this in place. And I guess we're on to bleeding the brakes again. And it'll be the same process as on the other side. I bleed it until clear enough fluid comes out, so I know that the lines are mostly clear of that nasty silicone stuff. Let's see. And the bleeder valve, it's a different size from the originals. This is closer to a 10 mil. The other one was closer to an 11. Anyways, on we go. Just loosen it. There. For something new, they sure made it really tight. Anyways, let's just get our bucket and our fuel line, and we'll start bleeding. Pumping the brakes. Now, I am dumping the bucket into a oil pan, but I don't think it's helping much with how much I've actually lost onto the floor here, at least in not making a mess and hurting the environment or whatever. Anyways, yeah, you can kind of see it. You can see the bucket at least. Here we go to pumping. I do about 10 pumps and then I take a look. Alright, that was 10 pumps. Well, this fluid's looking a lot clearer than it was on the other side. Which is, I don't know, maybe it flushed itself as it was leaking out. But, I don't know. I'll go another round of 10 pumps and we'll take another look, see if it gets dirtier. I can also feel substantially less air in the line as I pump. I think this line is good. It's definitely not as gunky as the other one was. And I'll just tighten that down then. And yeah, again, I'm not feeling any air. That could be on account of me actually blowing through the other rubber line just to make sure it was cleared out. I forgot to do that on this one, but here we are. So I'll just tighten that. plug, and I think we're ready to put this back together. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to straighten the wheel out, put the tire back on, and then we'll get to the rear brakes and we'll bleed those real quick while we're at it. Would be a good chance to rebuild them, but I really don't want to, so I'll just bleed them for now. Yeah, because I really want to make sure that old stuff is out of the line, so I'll bleed them. Alright. Alright, welcome to the bright side of the car, and by that I of course mean the rear. I didn't bother turning it around to do this. Alright, you convinced me. I think while I'm back here bleeding the brakes, I may as well replace the cylinder and the brake shoes while I'm in the rear. Alright then. I need to get my impact screwdriver because there's 2 screws that hold in the drum. So I'll be back with that, and I think the necessary components to rebuild it are right in my trunk here. Now, just make sure it's set the correct way. Alright, that's right. Now we just... Alright, that one's loose. Okay. Now you could probably get by with just using an impact drill, but that's so impersonal. Besides this, you gotta get a cool tool that you gotta hit with a hammer. Normally I use a bigger real hammer, not like one of these with the mullet. Anyways, so this should come off. I took it off at one point before. There we go. Released. Yeah, that's feeling really gunky now. I think that leak has gotten worse. It's all kind of turned to gel now. Yeah, that's going to need some brake clean. I should be able to rebuild this without pulling apart this hub at least. Of course it's in gear, but I got my parking block on the front side now, so it doesn't roll forward on me. Could roll backward though, that's a bit scary. Anyways, so yeah, I guess I'll just pull these things apart. I think I need pliers to get some of these. Maybe I should read a manual. I haven't rebuilt any, well, at least I have experience with rebuilding drum brakes. I didn't with the front ones, so, but it's been a few years since I've rebuilt a set. That was on my, well, I say mine, but it was never really roadworthy enough to actually take out. It was a 73 Jeep Commando, the one with the ugly bullnose. I kind of like the design, but most people think they're ugly. Alright, so this gets flipped around and on like so. Alright, once again my Haynes manual pretty much proved to be useless. It did tell me to remove the adjuster, which I did. And then it kind of just left off there, and almost seemed to go off on a tangent and didn't describe anything about the other springs on the thing in order to remove the actual brake shoes. So anyways, I'm just gonna keep working at it, see if I can figure it out. This looks like a wheel balancer. Or wheel weight, I should say. Hopefully it's not one of mine. Yeah, it said literally nothing about this whole mechanism here, which of course you need to remove in order to remove the shoes. Useless manual. Or maybe it did explain, it's just worded very poorly. And of course the pictures are also worthless. Gives you a nice diagram of, you know, all the different components, but not exactly how to pull them apart. It's a exploded view, so of course it doesn't actually show you like Legos how it goes together or whatever. Yeah, nope. Maybe if I work from this side and try to remove it. That still doesn't seem possible. How do they do this? Is there a pin on the other side, maybe? If I can just remove that. If I can remove the hinge, I should be able to get it apart. Otherwise, I might just have to... Oh, hello. It's actually missing the cotter pin on the back of there, so I should be able to remove this now. And then it should at least be easier for me to work with. There we go. Yeah, this is slimy. I don't think I was getting any rear braking out of this one. Okay, come on. Ow. There we go. Got it. Finally. There we go. Now, hopefully I don't forget how it all goes together. Next I need to pull this cylinder out because that's getting replaced. First I'll need to remove the brake line from it. Get my wrenches back over here. Now, the front one, the bleeder screw at least was an 11. I'm going to try that here. Oh, it's close. I mean, it fits, but I don't want to mess with any hard lines. That's what these are. So I want to make sure the size is perfect. It's not a 10 mil. Let's try some standard 3/8 maybe. Bigger than 3/8. 7/16. Alright, I think it's a 7/16. Oh good. It turned and there's no line breakage. Let's go. That's what I was most worried about. Twisting the line apart. That's why I forgot to, but I was gonna PB blast it ahead of time. Alright, now how are you held in place then? I got the brake line off. I might need to get that bit off. The bleeder valve, which is tiny on this thing. Let me take a quick look at... Oh, it's leaking. Quick look at this. Yeah, it looks like the bleeder valve does need to come out in order to remove it. And that valve is tiny. Let's try 5/16 on it. No. Try 1/4 inch. Which is the smallest my wrenches go to. Okay, it's a 1/4 inch and it released. Sweet. Alright, that's out. Alright, is there more to this? Oh, I gotta plug that with something, somehow. Okay, there's a cylinder retaining clip that has to be removed. Which of course I can't see because it's just so dirty back here. I think that might be it. Yeah, that's definitely it. And it is in pretty rough shape. I hope I have replacements for those. I do. That's great. Now this should just pull out. There we go. And we're just replacing that entirely. It is in awful condition. It might be able to clean up, and if you had the proper seals and things, you might be able to rebuild it, but I'm not bothering with that. Again, I'm doing this quick and dirty, like so. Alright, before I start putting things in, I'm going to make sure it's cleaned up with the brake cleaner, so I'm not going to be causing any contamination or excessive wear. Would be great to have a wire brush, but I do not have that. What I have is a very dirty rag. Wiping. Yeah, it's just grime. It's really bad. It wasn't a bad leak, but you know, it still mixes in with the dirt that gets in there, and it's not pleasant. Doesn't have to be, I'm not trying to make it perfect, I just want it to be good enough. Now my version of good enough probably isn't good enough for most people, but it's good enough for me. And that's what matters when it's my car. Well, these are the rears. The fronts are more important anyways. Okay, I think that's about as clean as it will get for now. Let's just get everything else I need. Okay, I'm going to need to pull this cap off, or this bleeder valve off to fit this through. I'll leave that cap on there for the intake. Let's see, is this going to be the same size? It definitely looks bigger than a 1/4 inch. It is. That is, well, let's try the 5/16. It's a 5/16, people. There we go. Oh, this even just feels a lot better than this. I think this is like seized. Okay. I'll just pull that. No, leave the plug in. We're trying to avoid getting gunk in there. So push this through, and let's get that clip on. There's the clip. And hello, what are you? There's something else. I'm going to take a quick look at what that's supposed to be, because I have no idea. Stay there. You stay there too. Alright, it doesn't seem to appear in the manual, so I'll just use the clip and pretend we didn't see the other piece. Maybe it's for like a different style. I don't know. It's just a little metal tube that's been cut along, so presumably for tension on something. So this just goes on. Oh, which direction? Because this is a little warped thing. I think it's just goes on like that. I'll double check the manual. I really can't see what I'm doing. Must be awful for you guys. Ugh. Man, it's disgusting. Okay, where's my pliers at? Ow! That hurt. What are you doing there, car? I'm trying to work on you. Stop getting in my way. Oh. Oh, you stay in. I'm trying to get this in position. Hard. Why did they teach me this in school? Alright, let me just try not doing it that way. Of course, my little plug that I was going to play with just fill out, so oh well. Hard. This might be a while. On the right side, there's only one more to go. Well, I'll get this retaining clip on, and I'll cut here. My battery's almost dead, so I need a beverage too. I think I'm getting dehydrated. Alright, I finally got that little clip in place, and now we're just gonna get into reassembling the rest of this whole mess. Right, so these are the new brake shoes. I gotta wipe them off again because I got some brake fluid on them, as I demonstrated earlier how not to do it. I did that on purpose, just so you know, not to leave your things under there as you unscrew the brake line. I definitely didn't do that accidentally. Alright. Should remember to trim your nails before you do stuff like this. I mean, I generally don't care about my nails, but they get out of hand, and then you play with tools a bit too much, and then you start splitting nails, and then that's not very fun when they start splitting in ways that hurt. Start pulling off your finger itself, whatever that spot is called. Where did that adjuster go? Do you remember where it went? Point to the screen if you see it. I mean, I won't be able to know where you're pointing, but if you want to feel engaged. Adjuster, where'd you go? I have that old cylinder, but that's not what I need. Am I standing on it? Is this on it? No, that's a spring. This on it? There it is. Alright, so there's this. There should also be two nuts somewhere, as washers. Don't know where those went. This will go... So this is the brake adjuster. Oh, this is a little thing back here that lets you change how much the tops of the brake shoes will be rubbing against. So, well, I can't remember if there was a specific direction for it, so I'll just stick it in. There we go. Oh, wait, let's take a look. Okay. No, that should be fine. Probably. It'll be fine. Now, there's a couple nuts. Oops, there's one washer, lock washer. Should be a second one around somewhere. Remember to keep your tools and parts organized. Use a magnetic parts tray if you like. Those are useful. I don't want to put it together with only one lock washer. There it is. Okay. Yeah, lose them again. Okay, so let's set these aside for now. I just got to put the nuts back on the back of the adjuster. Washers first, then the nuts. Come on. know this is your fault. I wasn't going to do this, but now I have to. Alright, why does this feel really tight? Should probably use an extension on this. Oh, hello. Okay, that should go back in. One of the adjusters fell out while I was tightening it. They'll just slip back into place. They're only pressure fit. Okay, this goes back in there. Clean it off a little. Alright. Now the adjuster's back in place. I'm pretty much done with the back side until I bleed the brakes. So now, let's get this turned to the direction it needs to be. Vertical. Okay. Now, we got these. The balder sides were on top. They went in about like that. So, let's not forget to put this back in position. Wipe it off. Probably spray it too. I think I'm okay. Just wiping it. Okay. So, we're looking at this right. I believe it's set like this. And, yeah, this is the only way it would work. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. So I do still need to reuse these ones, which is unfortunate because I bent this one trying to get it off. Oops. Double check your supplies, people. Alright. So this goes back onto there, and this goes on the other side. If I can get it over. There. Well, that was much easier going on than coming off. Next. Boy, I forgot how this all went together already. That's great. That's terrific. Well, I guess I gotta look at the exploded view again. Well, you could have just told me the image was that awful. So, I found an image of it on the computer. So, I'll be looking at that for my references. I was right about this spring sitting behind it, and I don't really think the orientation matters too much in regards to which one goes where. I think, according to this image, this one sits on this side. I don't really think it matters, but I'll just do that. Pass it through there. You guys can't actually see this, I suppose, but... Ugh. And then this. And, get it up through here somehow. Where'd my needle nose go? Da-da-dum. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I wish it came with a new spring for that emergency brake mechanism, but what are you gonna do? Oh, this really doesn't want to go. Heave! There we go. Now that's connected. And then this other silver spring also sits on the back side. It goes onto these little flat holes. They go there. And that's your assembly. Sort of. And then I gotta refit it all. So, yeah, I'll just leave it that. And I suppose I gotta send this through first. Alright, now I'm just going to get this spring in. Just pull that back out. Sit back. It's getting buggy again. Okay. Alright, I'm going to need to just manhandle the thing. Maybe I have to do it the other side. Pull it off. Come on. Oh, there we go. Oh! There. And that's that. Next bit, gotta pull out 2 of these springs, the 2 of these pins, and 2 of these cap pieces. They look like old soldier helmets. Anyways, so pass this through the backside. There's the pin. We'll take one of the springs, set it on top, and this, press it together. I don't know if I'll be able to do it enough with my fingers alone. I think I'm gonna need the pliers. Alright, come on now. Alright, I need a different angle. Oh, come back here. Okay. Again, I don't want to punch this thing in case it slips. Arrgh. It was close. There's probably an actual tool for this, which I don't own. So, this is what it has to be. Oh, I just about crushed my thumb that time. Oh, come on. This is just about the best part about these sorts of brakes, drum brakes. I remember this from doing the Commando, and I was a bit younger when I did those. This would almost be easier with a vice grip. In fact, it probably will be. I'm going to do that. Alright. Press it. Turn it. Pop it. That's not quite right. Let's just get them centered. There we go. Good. Well, almost. Let's use my pliers now. There we go. And now that's locked in place. Ooh, I feel like, it seems like there should have been a bit more play there. But, well, that seems about right. Next, there's another one on this side. So we'll pass the pin through. There's the hole. The spring. And once again, I'll use my special spring setting tool, aka a vice grip. And you won't be able to see any of this. I don't know if you even saw the last one. Oh, this one isn't setting as easily. Try to use more of the front of it. Oops, the tube is... Right. It keeps moving around on me. There. And that's just about perfect. Alright. Now those are in place. Let me... Oh, I still gotta clean out the inside of this drum. Don't know if you'll be able to see it too well, but it is pretty gross. I'm going to move this mat out of the way, and we'll spray some more brake clean on there. Remember, don't put lubricant on the inside. I'm using brake clean, not lube. Because of course the shoes rub up against the inside of this, and that's how your drum brakes work. With the front brakes, you have the pads that press in on the disc and sort of catch it. But this, they expand and push against the walls. And I can't think of an analogy that works for that. So, well, that's a bit better. Now, I'll fit this on, or at least try to fit this on. We'll see how close we are. I might need to readjust a bit. Oh, actually seems about perfect. Now, here's the thing. I need to pop it in. I need to put it in neutral so I can see it spinning, so I can adjust it. But the issue with that is it could start rolling. I have the parking block on the front tire in front of it, so I'll need another parking block behind it too. There's plenty of parking blocks behind me, so. Alright, I'll pop it in neutral then. Alright, I mean, it already seems to be kind of leaking through, so maybe that's a good sign, maybe it's not. Just put that on, and we'll see if it works. Right. I want this to be sitting at the bottom now. There we go. Check the brake fluid. Remember, don't forget that step. Make sure it's not low from when you were messing with it earlier. The reservoir itself is looking a lot cleaner now. Just like last time, I was doing pump cycles of 10. I don't know if you heard, but I was over there and I said the reservoir is looking a lot cleaner now, so that's probably a good sign. Alright, we're still sitting on there. Don't forget to remind me to put the little pin for the brake caliper back in. So, yeah. You are looking at the bucket, right? Okay. I think it's pretty clean already. I'm just going to do, I think, 2 more cycles of 10 pumps, and then I think that should be good. Alright. Yeah, let me dump this out and I'll take another look at the hopefully cleaner fluid. Right, bucket. Alright. You know, this still looks pretty dirty. I think I'm going to go another cycle or 2, and we'll see how it is. The hose doesn't like to stay on this one as well as the other one, with a bigger bleeder. Just remember to always keep an eye on your brake reservoir's level. The last thing you want is air getting into it, because then you have to bleed the entire system again. Alright, now we're on the much brighter side. As you can see, this one's a lot cleaner looking than the other side. Well, I don't know if you did get a good look at the other side, but this is dry and clean. There's no leaks as far as I can tell. The seals look like they're about to go though, and if I'm replacing one set, I might as well replace the other one. So here we are over here, and I would just get right to work on disassembling it. Righto. So the first step was removing those pieces. Right, one down. They're so much easier coming off than they are going on. And these springs don't have as much travel as the other ones do. These are much tighter springs. So the ones I have are, the ones I'm installing are a bit more secure, I don't know. But anyways, they're new. Okay. Now the next step they recommended is to remove the adjuster. But I almost think I should just leave the adjuster on, because I managed to handle the other side just fine while leaving it in place. So I think that's what I'll do. There's no reason taking it off if I'm just, you know. Anyways, so I'll just deal with these springs. This spring is kind of rusted out. It's probably just a matter of time before it breaks on its own. So to do that, I just forced it, and I was able to do that. Do that from the other side, and the spring just pops right out. Alright, top end is free. Now the bottom end is probably the best solution, like we figured out last time, is to remove the handbrake, that pin holding it in place. We'll see if this one actually has a pin holding that pin in. I don't even know. This does not either, so it just sits in there. That's great. Alright, I did remember to put that back in on the other side. I just forgot to do it ahead of time, so I had to deal with it with the tire on, and I didn't want to jack the car up again just for that, which it would have been much easier if I had, and probably saved me 10 minutes. Alright, now, which is the best way to get you off? There we go. Then we just slip it through, and there. Now we just pull the springs apart, which is easier said than done. Well, yeah, because I need to get this bit off. Where'd my screwdriver go? My regular screwdriver. Sun's in my eyes, if I face the camera. Luckily, I don't really need to. Anyways, here we are with this. Gotta pull the springs off somehow. We'll manage. Just use this. Once again, most of these springs and the shoes are being replaced. These shoes really aren't too worn though, so it would have been fine to reuse them, probably, but, you know, once again, might as well just replace everything while you're at it. Let's see, what's going to be the best method of doing this then? There we go. Well, this is going much faster than the first time. You know, more experienced, I'm a bit wiser. Probably have a couple more gray hairs since 10 minutes ago. 20. Now we just got to remove this cylinder. Pretty big spider back there. First step, we're going to remove the brake line. There we go. Alright, that line is out. Now, I'll find something to plug it with so it doesn't leak all over everywhere as much. Next step, remove the bleeder screw, which is, I believe, small. Should be a 1/4 inch if it's the same as the other side. There's just the right amount of sketch holding this car up on this end. It was a bit easier on the other side, but there's not as much to set the stands under. There we go. This one would actually probably pull through the hole they have, but might as well remove them just to be on the safe side. Next, keep this spring handy because I'll need it. There's that pin that needs to come out, not the pin, the clip on the back side needs to come out. On the bright side, the way I had this jacked up, it's a bit higher than it was, so it makes it a bit easier. I did have the clip on the other way on the other side. Hopefully that's okay. I don't want to fix it. Alright, now this should just pull out. There we go. Come on. There. That's the old Brakes cylinder, and that one really was in pretty decent shape. But anyways, here's the replacement. Rip it apart. Let's grab that clip. Okay, let's just tear it open. There we go. Not like I'll need the ziplock feature. Let's get those lined up. No, wait, that would be that way. Alright, next. Again, I have to pull these off, which are size not the same. Oh, what did we say it was? Where'd all my wrenches go? Did I not bring them over? We're in the sun, so it's drying a little too quickly. Well, this one's actually painted. I wonder if this is... No, I don't think it's been rebuilt at any point. They must have just tried painting over it to make it look nice. I wonder why they'd do that. Why would they do that? Anyways. It smells like peanut butter. Is it supposed to? Probably not. Alright, so there's that. Let's stick this in there. Okay, and then we try for the next 15 minutes or so to wrestle this clip on. I'm just going to stop the recording here. Well, believe it or not, it only took me about 5 minutes getting it on. Great. Now, looks like this fell out. This is the little dust cap for this, which I believe hooks on this way. Come on. I didn't really check to see if the other one's dust cap was okay. I just kind of figured it was mangled beyond necessity, so I just left it. Right. Alright. Now we just have to get everything back together. Let me put the brake line in first. Oh, actually, let's get the bleeder screw in. The bald part is on top. Then the new hardware is over here. So the first step I want to do is to get this. This is the spring for the handbrake, and this is also that mechanism. On this side it's mirrored. It goes out the back end. So that's about what we need. And then we take this and get it in there, and get this in there. Come on. Come on. Can I do it by hand? Survey says no. Alright. Let's force it then. Ow. Alright, let's force it with a needle nose then. Alright, there. That's together. Now let's get this new other spring in. This goes in from the back side. In you go. Get into the hole. Just get in! Almost there, I think. There. Feed that through. That doesn't seem quite right. Alright, let's use it on the other side. Come on now. Alright, now feed it through on this end. And that seems a little bit better. And I just need to pull that up. Help of the needle nose once again. Probably. Why doesn't this seem right? Ugh. There. Ah, it sprung back. That hurt. Okay. Come on now. There. That's in. And it's correct, I think. Right. Now, we just fit this on to there. No, first let's feed it through the sleeve here. Come on. Get through the hole. There. That's it. Now, I'm going to fit this onto the thingy. The cylinder. Little known fact, brakes are the best part about any job on the car. Oh, come on. Oh. I mean, I know I did this before, but why isn't it going now? There. Got one in. That's the main hurdle. And there. Both sides in. Finally. Now we take the other spring left over, and this goes in the top end. Can you see this? No, you can't. You couldn't even see all the wrestling I was doing? Come on. Why don't you look up every once in a while? Anyways, let's get this behind there properly. Now I do know this is a bit of a pain to do if I don't have one already free. So, this one, if it'll hook in, Alright, just have to do it like this, and that's in, and that's in. Now, we get this side in to there. And then just pull it back, and you can wrestle it in. There we go. That's on. Next. That hurt. Okay, next. And last step before we're ready to bleed the brakes. The pins and springs. I want to take a look at these springs though. Okay, yeah, so there's like almost half a coil extra. They're a bit longer. Maybe the old ones are just compressed, but I think there is an extra coil though. Anyways, let's just get these installed. Whew, it is hot on this side. No! Okay. And it all falls apart. Alright, get those in. Put the pin back through. No! Put the spring on there. Get this. Check the alignment. Press! Nope. Okay, turn it a bit. Press. Turn. There. That's perfect. Next. Top hole here. The spring. And cap. There. And that's in position. Sweet. Next we bleed the brakes. Again. Yay. I might as well take a look to see if the if it's working while I'm here. Ah, there. Did you see that? See, it pushes the shoes outwards, and of course those will rub against the inside of the drum, which of course works as the brake. Let me just dry wipe this. It's not nearly as grimy as the last one. There is a little bit of a lip on this, but it's not bad enough to warrant replacing. Gotta be careful, these things, the brake pads are asbestos, so you don't want to blow on them like I just did. Come on. Alright, there we go. Now let's get those screws back in place. Alright, there's my brake system. The run through of everything, really, that had to be replaced. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah! Right, great. Now I'll do a test run. Hopefully everything works. Otherwise, it'll be brake lines next. That's the big project. Yep. Hopefully just the soft stuff. Where's my... There it is. I don't know if this part's completely necessary, but I like to do it just in case. Alright, that seems good. Put the wheel on and clean up. And then test drive. Should I test drive before I clean up? I don't know. Either way, I'll cut here and, well, I'll meet you back after the test drive and I'll let you know how everything works. Right? Well, unfortunately, the brakes are working right. So, you won't get any more content from that for at least a few more days, probably. But the brakes are working, that's great. The hubs, they're a little warm, but I was, you know, braking a lot just to make sure they were working. Yeah, they work. They work pretty well, and as far as I can tell, I have all of them functional. The brake level, I should check that now, but it didn't look like it had dropped really anything, so that's good. Yeah, I'll take a look. If I can find the hood release. Alright. Okay, and that's on this side. Our brake level looks good. I'm just gonna top it off just a little bit, but it's just about perfect. It only took us a bottle and a half of brake fluid. That would be 1.5 quarts. US quarts. Quarter gallons. Got some air. I don't like the way this is set up. They could have put the... I don't know, they could have just done a dual cap thing instead of this weird... It gets bubbles stuck in that. But that shouldn't really affect anything. So that's what we have. Functional brakes. That's great. And brakes that aren't going to burn my... Probably aren't going to burn my hubs or wheel bearings up. It's all kind of a bit warm, but it's definitely not as bad as it was before when I had test driven it with just the original calipers. I believe they're retracting like they're supposed to now. It's kind of just now that the car's settled that the heat's spread a bit more, but it's definitely not an alarming temperature anymore, which is great. So hopefully I got most of that silicone brake fluid out of the system and have replaced it all with regular good old DOT3. This is synthetic, I suppose. Maybe I should have gone non-synthetic, but whatever. Oh, radiator's hot. what is the base? I keep thinking of the word, and it's a weird word. Let's see if I can find it. I don't think it lists it. But it's not silicone. That's the main thing. So hopefully that sorts out the issue, and I'll be able to drive this thing without having to replace pads every 500 miles. Yeah. That'll do it for this episode. Bit of a... Well, it's been a long thing for me. It's probably only been about an hour for you, so... maybe an hour and a half, I don't know. Anyways, it's fixed. Thanks for watching Dents and Dings. See you next time.